Thank you again for tuning in, watching my video. So this video, I'm just going to basically show you how to get a matte face. That first picture I showed was literally after I left the bar. And I mean, it was hot and sweaty. Kept the matte face the whole time. So I'm going to show you how I got it done. So here I am just basically lining the eyebrows. I am using the NYX in the shade Espresso. Again, I line the bottom and then I also line the top part. And then I just kind of fill in the inner eyebrow. And then I do like eyebrow or hair-like strokes in the very beginning. I am concealing the eyebrow with the shade from Kevyn Aucoin in shade XX13. And I just basically shape up the eyebrow with the concealer. So if you mix them up when you're trying to shape them up, you can always change it by using the concealer. Here I am just setting the eyebrow and the eyelid with the Airspun setting powder, just so that it's not oily and the eyebrow stays intact. Then I go in with just a few shades to create this really pretty green, shiny, metallic color. I'm using the Morphe palette, the Jaclyn Hill palette. And here I am just using the transition shade. And this is in the shade G Money. And now I pull out that Juvia's Place eye palette in the Rebel Army. And I'm just using that pretty green color. And then I go to the Pat McGrath Lab eye palette to use this dark brown shade just to transition the outer corner with that green. So for the face, I don't know if I show everything, but I moisturize the face with that e.l.f. Holy Hydration. Then I do the e.l.f. Putty Primer, and then I also use the Glow Recipe Strawberry Blur Drops. So I use the moisturizer, the Glow Recipe, then I use the e.l.f. Putty Primer, and then I let each one wait or settle in the skin for maybe about 5 minutes in between, just to let them make sure they settle in the skin first. And then of course, if I want a matte face, I go with the Estee Lauder, and I am in the shade Sandalwood, and I just pat that with my beauty blender throughout the face. And then I use the concealer in the inner corner of the nose, in their chin with a highlighter shade. I use the Tarte shade in the color Tan Deep Sand. And then I wanted to kind of make it a little bit more of a, not so bright throughout the rest of the face. So I go in with the Best Skin Ever in the shade 35N. And I'm letting that sit in first. So I allow my concealer to sit in the face maybe 5 to 7 minutes so that it can get thick, creamy, and it sticks in place. And it doesn't basically disappear when I blend it. Here I am, I'm using the Black Opal foundation stick, and I'm using that to contour the face. I do the upper part of the cheekbones, the forehead. When I want to be extra, I like to go underneath the jawline just to shape up the face to make it look like my face is giving model. And I'm basically blending it in with the Real Technique brush. And you just kind of see me going above the cheekbones. I don't kind of go low because I like to keep it high, make my face look like it's lifted. And I just basically blend that into the face. I don't know what happened to my camera. It did not record me blending in my chin and underneath my nose with my concealer, but I use the Real Technique setting brush, and I always blend out the edges of the concealer, and then I go into the middle. I go with the chin, under the nose, the edge up underneath the eyes, and then I go directly to the forehead. And then you'll see me kind of blend in using my brush. I don't have any extra contour on the brush. I'm just using whatever's left over just to kind of blend the concealer out in my forehead. And I just kind of blend the concealer out with the contour color. And here I am, I'm just blending the nose, and then you'll see me go into the eyes, and I just kind of blend in the inner corner, and I like to keep my concealer in the same place. I don't drag it, I don't move it, I just pat it until it blends into the skin. Can I take a moment just to thank you for watching my video? I hope you get some good techniques from watching me, and I hope you subscribe, and I hope you give me the thumbs up. I'm going to continue to post videos, and I just want to say I appreciate you for watching my videos. I actually enjoy and love doing makeup, and I love just to kind of teach people how to do the same thing. Here I am. I'm setting the makeup with the Morphe setting spray, just to kind of set it in place. And I'm using my Tarte liquid blush, and I just pat it, and then I also mix my liquid highlighter in Morphe shade. I have to get used to using this, or maybe I have to buy a new liquid highlighter, because this is kind of hard to blend, and I don't let it set in my skin for a long time. I blend it as soon as I put it on my skin. This one did a little bit better, but I mean, with the Morphe liquid highlighter, you just have to blend it immediately. And maybe I have to use a different brush. I'm not sure. But I don't feel like I put enough blush on me. I love blush. So I'm just adding more liquid blush in here on the cheekbones, just so that pop more and it stays on the skin throughout the night. And let me tell you, I've learned with using different makeups, the key to keeping matte face is basically the products. I've learned that one size is the truth. It gets the job done. I mean, it never disappoints. So I'll let you know what I use as far as one size. But here I am just I'm setting the concealer with the Maybelline Fit Me in the shade number 30, and I just set the powder in. I don't put too much product on it. I'm just setting the concealer, and here I am just pushing that one size setting powder in the shade Translucent. It has no extra color, and I tell you, it blends into the skin. It doesn't leave any residue that shows up in the skin. I mean, it literally, you just pat it into the skin and it disappears. It is so beautiful. And when I tell you it keeps my face matte, it keeps it matte. I go underneath the eyes with this. I go underneath the nose. I go on the chin. And then I go on the bridge of the nose. That's where I bake, just to kind of highlight the nose. And then I go to the forehead. And I mean, the one size is better than Laura Mercier. It's better than Huda. In my opinion, I must say, it keeps my makeup matte. Living in Houston, I mean, it's 110, 115 degrees. And I mean, when you outside, the sun will melt your makeup. The one size get it done. And when I know I'm going to be out in the heat, I use my one size in the shade Dark Deep. I think it's Dark Deep. Yes, it's Dark Deep. And I basically pat it in the powder, and I just blend it in to my face. I pat it throughout my entire face. Well, no, let me not lie. I don't put it where I put my concealer, as far as under my eyes and my nose, but I do blend it all over the rest of my skin. My cheeks, my jaw, my forehead, any place that I know I'm going to stay oily. I even go over it with the over the blush and the contour. And when I tell you, it sets my makeup, it sets it. I'm not oily. I'm not sweaty. I mean, that first picture that you saw, that's the truth after 3 hours of being in that heat. And I just fell back in love with this Morphe palette, the contour palette. And this is the number 8D. And I'm going between the bronzer and the contour color. I just mixed the two colors. And I'm just basically setting that cream contour that I use. So I go over the high cheekbones. I go over the forehead. And I think I do a little bit underneath my jawline as well, because I want to set underneath the jaw. So powder brush, today I'm using the Juvia's Place, the Saharian Blush Volume 1. And I'm going between that orange and that pink shade. Do you see that pop? Do you see the blush? It's giving, and it stayed on all night. And I'm just basically going over the liquid brush, the Tarte liquid brush that I use. And I just kind of go over it several times with that one. And I felt like I wanted to have a little bit more of a bronzer look. So I pulled that Morphe and Mocha Moment, and I just go over it just a little bit. I go over the high cheekbones and the forehead. And then again, the same old stuff that I use, Black Opal and Bronze Boo. It's a little bit darker than my complexion, and I just basically contour the nose with it. I go from the eyebrows all the way to the tip of the nose, and I just kind of go up against my setting powder that I have on my nose, and I kind of look at that. That's kind of like my guide to know how far up to go on my nose. The skinnier my setting powder is, the skinnier and the snatched the nose is gonna be. So again, I'm using the one size in translucent, and I'm just kind of going underneath the cheekbones just to carve it out to give me a more sculpt look. Okay, here I am. I'm just doing reverse contouring the nose. So I'm using the same one size in translucent, and I'm just kind of going on just the sides of the nose, so just that my nose blends in a little bit better, and it snatches it more. I don't try to be too precise with it. And again, like I said, to get a matte face, one size does it all. This is the one size foundation powder in the shade Dark 1, and I just use my powder brush, and I just basically push it into the powder, and I go over my entire face with this foundation powder. I'm telling you, it seals the deal. My face was not oily at all this night. And I'm just basically pushing in that transition color and allowing that line to disappear. I like to have the line just a little bit to show the sharpness, but I try to get rid of it so it doesn't look too sharp. I pull out my Charlotte Tilbury in the shade number 2, and I'm pushing in that translucent powder that we put underneath the eye. I'm pushing it in with the Charlotte Tilbury just to kind of brighten underneath the eye a little bit so that it pops. But you see, I'm pushing in the powder. I'm not brushing it away. I'm pushing it in. Here it is, the one size. What is this? Until Dawn, literally Until Dawn. And I spray my face with this. I mean, your eyes are burning after you spray, but when I tell you it does the job, you can cry and it literally just goes over the entire makeup. It does not mess it up at all, okay? So obviously I put on some lashes, and then I go over the under eye with the same green that we put on the top of the eye. And then this is the Juvia's Place, this chrome color. I love this color. It made that green pop out a lot more, and I literally just put a dap on the inner corner and I smudge it with the brush. The left eye I got perfectly. The right eye I put a little bit more so that blends in a little bit better, but you see the huge difference once I blend this into the green. I mean, it makes my eye pop out more. But again, this is the Juvia's Place in Fula, and it just blends into the green. And to seal the deal with this makeup, I use the Urban Decay in All Nighter, the setting spray. Here you go. And then I'm using the Rare Beauty in the shade Flaunt, and I'm just using the base of the Beauty Blender, and I'm just basically setting that in the cheekbones and the nose. And then that's the final look. I hope you watched the whole tutorial. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to put thumbs up. Thank you so much.